Hello, I'm Jennifer McGuire, and this is my leadership journey. I started this program with quite a bit of experience as a leader in work and in school organizations. My favorite leadership role at work was as the senior digital media manager for a publishing company. I managed a team of graphic artists and had to ensure that projects were distributed fairly and that I matched artistic style and personalities with authors. I was the person who had to ensure all deadlines were met and be flexible when it was necessary. This job was not easy. I was the person who had to settle disagreements between authors and designers. Working with two different artistic types and getting them to agree on a shared vision would sometimes end up with creative negotiating to ensure both the author and the designer were happy with the final product. This was my first leadership role where I felt like a leader. This is where I learned that I don't like to sit back and give orders. I worked as a graphic artist on projects too, so I was able to learn about the various authors. This gave me better insight to personalities, and I was able to match designers and authors for future projects. I decided in this position that in order to be a good leader, you should have gone through the same process or projects that you are asking your team to complete. This gives you the same perspective and allows you to lead each person with knowledge and experience. I served as an officer in my college's chapter of Phi Theta Kappa for 2 years. My main goal for being an officer was to improve my scholarship applications, but I soon realized that leadership experience I gained was more valuable than any scholarship I could earn. I learned to work with people of various age ranges and backgrounds. I was 20 years older than the rest of my team, and they would look to me for guidance. I realized that in order for each of us to develop our leadership skills, they would need to not rely on my experience. When they looked to me to start a discussion or solve a problem, I would pose questions to the team that would get them thinking about solutions or plans rather than asking me to do it. I learned that I could be a team player and still be a leader doing this. I did not have to be the one in charge to make a difference. I knew my role in each project and ensured all of my tasks were completed, and then asked where I could help everyone else complete their tasks. During my last year as a student at my community college, I served as a student ambassador. This is the highest student leadership position available at the institution. This position helped my public speaking skills and boosted my self-confidence. Our duties included meeting guest speakers and VIPs that came to campus and introducing them during the events. Student ambassadors also hosted events acting as MC. While I did not have direct leadership over a team, this leadership position helped me understand the importance of being a role model. We were the example for other students to look up to and want to achieve. Throughout this journey, I realized that I need to be sure I am representing my organization to the best of my ability. Others within the organization will look to me to know how to be a productive member of the organization. What you do and say can have positive or negative consequences. I learned to always be a positive role model for others in my organization. Throughout my courses, I have been able to reflect on mine and my husband's work history and understand the leadership style of our supervisors and the organizations where we were employed. It was interesting to read various theories and immediately have a former supervisor's name pop into my mind. Learning about these theories in depth has given me a better understanding of why these supervisors lead the way they did. Data-driven decision-making was the hardest course for me. I'm not a numbers person, so I had to really concentrate in both courses. I understand the need for data, but I, like that where I work now, has a department that handles all of the data. I can submit a request and they provide the information for me in a lovely spreadsheet with graphs. It was interesting to learn about KPIs and how they can help leaders make decisions. Behavior, ethics, and leadership was one of my favorite courses. I enjoyed learning about how organization structure, industry standards, and even cultural norms can dictate what is ethical in an organization. The Ford Pinto case was the biggest surprise for me. I read the summary and immediately thought Ford was unethical in the case. After extensive research, I learned that Ford did not act unethically. They followed their organizational guidelines and industry standards when designing and producing the Pinto. Other car manufacturers were facing similar safety issues, but Ford was the one the media latched onto. It's sad that a situation as dire as the safety of the Pinto not only caused so many deaths, but was what the industry and government needed to realize they needed to have more safety restrictions and guidelines for automobile production. I learned through this course not to let my personal bias influence the research of the situation. I need to go in without judgment, research the organization, the industry, and governmental regulations when presented with an ethical dilemma. A thoroughly researched case will show the truth behind the ethics of a situation or decision. Leadership theory helped me understand my current organization better. I was able to understand why the various leaders in my current organization are each different. But I also gained a better understanding of the behavior of leaders I worked for in the past. I definitely have a better understanding of my current supervisor. I knew his leadership style wasn't like any I had encountered before, and this course helped me see the reason for his decisions and behaviors. I love that I can refer back to what I learned in this course when I encounter a new supervisor or leader and get a better understanding of what they are doing and why. The Leading Change course came at the perfect time for me. I work for Dallas College, and we are currently going through a major reorganization from a district of colleges to a one college model. There have been major changes happening, and this course helped me understand why we were going through this change from the organizational point of view. I love that I could pinpoint things from my organization as I went through each module. I'm no longer the disgruntled employee complaining about the upheaval happening. I'm the one supporting the change and helping my coworkers get a better understanding as well. Honestly, the Capstone courses terrified me at first. I was not sure what to expect. The first day of class, I was pleasantly surprised to see only a few assignments due. I like that these courses had me reflect on what I have learned throughout the program and made me think about how I am using them in my current role. The papers are definitely challenging, but not to a point that they cannot be completed. I loved interviewing two leaders and learning about their leadership style and their organizations. I found it interesting that I was overrun with options for interviewing a leader in a nonprofit organization, but struggled to secure an interview with a leader at a for-profit organization. I was too ambitious in choosing Disney to write about for the organizational analysis paper for the Capstone 2 course. I'm a huge Disney fan, and I go to Disney World every other year. So I thought this would be a perfect organization to choose, but I was mistaken. It was hard to ignore my own opinions as a customer on what are strategic moves for the organization. I spent the majority of this term researching and attempting to write the paper, and I kept getting frustrated. It was really hard to write a thorough paper without having someone on the inside helping me understand the organization and their procedures. So what sounded like a great implementation from my viewpoint might not have turned out to be great for the organization. So I had to take a step back into the 6th week of class in this 7-week term and decided that I needed to find a new organization to analyze. Luckily, I was able to interview a local small business and get insider information that provided me with the statistics and honest information about the structure of the organization. This paper ended up being one of my favorites to write, and I'm so glad I took a deep breath and realized where I was going wrong. I enjoyed being able to put all of the theories and principles that I have learned to practice in a real world organization. Hopefully, they will implement some of my suggestions. I feel like I am prepared to be a better leader today. I learned a lot through my career and time in school, but this program has given me better insight into who I am and what kind of leader I want to be. I do not like to sit back and give orders. I want to roll my sleeves up and work side by side with those that I am leading. I want to encourage my followers to step out of their comfort zone and shine in the spotlight. I want them to be the leaders of tomorrow. Creativity is a mother of innovation, and I want to be the type of leader who encourages creative thinking and ideas. I want to reward those under me with recognition. I've learned from my current supervisor that you cannot be successful as a leader without a great team. That is the type of leader I want to be. I've already taken the next step in my leadership journey by becoming an advisor for the Phi Theta Kappa chapter at the college where I work. This position gives me the opportunity to practice the leadership skills that I have learned in this course. I will be able to support the officers and members and guide them through their own leadership journeys. I think this is the perfect opportunity to practice being a supportive leader that will do the work with the team. The first opportunity that I have to work as a project lead in my department, I will take it. This will be a great chance for me to show my supervisors and team that I am ready to take on more leadership roles within my work team. With the reorganization of the college, I am working with a new team and supervisors. A few have worked on a project with me before, but not extensively. Now is the time for me to step up and show my team that I am capable of being a leader, and not only our team, but in the college too.